திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். புழியர்கோன் வெப்பொழித்த புகழியர்கோன் கடல் போற்றி, ஆழிமிசை கல்முதப்பில் அணைந்த பிரான் அடி போற்றி, வாழி திரு நாவலூர் வன்றொண்டர் பதம் போற்றி, ஊழிமலி திருவாத ஊரர் திருத்தாள் போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். So today we are continuing our discussion of Sambandar's Panchakshara padhigam, which is Tirumurai number 3, padhigam number 22. Last time we had discussed the first 5 songs of this padhigam. Today we will continue from the 6th song onwards, and there are 6 more songs to cover, and depending upon how much time we have today, we may cover all of it or we may cover part of it and we may come back again next session. So what I will do is that I will again say the words and please repeat, that way you get the pronunciation aspect. So we are in the 6th song. Tummal, irumal, toḍarnda, good, pōḻdiṇum, vemmai, naragam, viḷainda, pōḻdiṇum, immai, viṇai, aḍarttu, eydum, pōḻdiṇum, ammaiyiṇum, tuṇai, añjeḻuttumē. Good. So in this song, what he is describing is that the Panchaksharam is the greatest protection that we have. It will protect us in all kinds of situations. And he is giving 3 examples. When we are suffering from non-stop disease, illnesses, or when we are going to, if you have done great sins in the past and we think that we are going to suffer in naragam, the hell, or if the past karma is giving us a lot of trouble in this life. In any of these kind of situations, these are all different kinds of difficulties that we suffer. And in all such things, we will be protected by the Panchakshara. The 5 letters of Lord's name, Namah Shivaya, will protect us. That's a summary of this song. So now we will look at the words so that we get a more detailed understanding of the song. Tummal. Tummal means sneezing. Irumal means coughing. Toḍarnda pōḻdiṇum, even if it is non-stop. Toḍarnda means to come continuously, like a chain. Toḍarnda means to follow continuously, to keep on having. Podhu means when, is a meaning of that. So tummal, irumal, toḍarnda pōḻdiṇum means even if sneezing and coughing continue endlessly. That's the meaning of that. So we may think that, what is sneezing and coughing? These are all minor ailments. These are not major illnesses, right? That's how typically we think. But these are all, at extreme levels, even these are painful. So for example, a lot of people suffer from allergies. Simple example. And if the allergy season, right? In the spring season, a lot of people get allergies. And they will be sneezing all the time, their eyes will be watering, they will be itching. All those kind of things will come with allergy. That is an example. And you can imagine, if you are suffering from that and you have no medication, how miserable your life will be. And irumal is coughing. And again, coughing, we all have cough from time to time because of some illness or other. But there are different kinds of coughing, and some of them are symptoms of very major illnesses. The children get coughing, and there's something called whooping cough. I don't know whether you have heard of this term. And that is a major disease that used to affect children. And so that's one example. When the childhood, it is a dangerous disease. And even as you grow older, all kinds of diseases will come. So, for example, to give you an example, right? Some people have problems swallowing food, older people. What happens is that there is a valve in the throat that closes the windpipe and lets the food go to the stomach. And for some people, that flap does not open and close properly. And sometimes when they eat food or when they drink something, instead of going into the stomach, it goes into the lungs. And that creates a lot of problem. So these are all simple examples. So you should look at this tummal and irumal as a representation of diseases in general. So even when diseases keep on happening, Namashivaya mantram will protect us. That is this. So because the Namashivaya mantram is a great medicine. It protects us from physical ailments, and it also protects us from the never-ending ailment of birth and death. So it protects us that. So that's one example of physical diseases. The second line, vemmai naragam viڵainda pōḻdiṇum. Naragam is naraka. So the Sanskritam word narakam, when it is said in Tamil, it gets the Tamil pronunciation. So naragam in Tamil. Vemmai means very hot. So, or very cruel. That's the meaning of vemmai. Hot or cruel. So vemmai naragam, even when the hot, cruel narakam, viڵainda pōḻdiṇum, even if it were to occur, even if it were to come. What does it mean? Because we have done great sins, and because of those sins, even if we don't suffer in this life, we know that we will suffer in narakam after this life. Because often we look at some people who have done bad things. We all know that they have done bad things, but they seem to be enjoying life. And our scriptures say that what we enjoy is the result of past karma, that portion of which we have to experience in this birth. What we call as a prarabdha karma. That is to be experienced in this life. So they may have done some good things in the past and they are enjoying it, but they have done a lot of bad things now. Some of it they may experience in this birth itself, some of them they will experience after this birth. And because of that, he is saying that vemmai naragam viڵainda pōḻdiṇum. After this birth, even if you are going to the worst hell that we can imagine. And again, in our scriptures, they talk about different levels of hell. And so even if it is a cruel hell were to occur, that means that, typically we know that, those who have done sins, the scriptures and the Puranas, they have a lot of descriptive explanations of how the hell is. Right? You will be tortured, you will be roasted, you will be boiled, whatever, right? They have all kinds of graphic description of torture that we will experience in hell. So that's what he is saying. Go ahead. Yeah, that's an example. Yeah, frying in oil is an example. Yeah. So even if we are going to be suffering in the greatest hell after this life. And the third line, immai, viṇai, aḍarttu, eydum, pōḻdiṇum. Immai means in this birth. Viṇai is karma. Karma is a Sanskrit word. Viṇai is the Tamil word for karma. Viṇai means action or karma. So immai, viṇai. In this birth, viṇai, the karma, aḍarttu, eydum, pōḻdiṇum. Aḍarttal means to press. So the karma, past karma, comes in this birth and squeezes us greatly. Squeezes means what? It is hurting us a lot. So eydudal means to reach us. So even if the past karma, all the past karma hems us, surrounds us and crushes us in this birth, even then, and ammaiyiṇum means, immai is this birth, ammai is what comes after this birth, beyond, afterlife. This life and ammai is beyond. So ammaiyiṇum, even in the life beyond this life, even after this life, tuṇai. Tuṇai is the protection, support, help. It has a lot of meanings, but they are all similar, related meanings. Tuṇai is the support, he is the protection. Who? añjeḻuttumē, the holy 5 letters. And as we discussed last time, the Panchaksharam is not simply looked upon as 5 letters, right? It is a mantram, and it is the embodiment of Shiva. So it is the mantra swarupam of Shiva. So in this padhigam, wherever he says añjeḻuttumē, he is referring to the Panchaksharam and Shiva, who is the Panchaksharam. So again, to summarize, the Panchaksharam is the greatest protection we can have when diseases follow us in this body, when we have a lot of leftover sins, we have committed a lot of sins that we are going to suffer in great hell after this life, or when we suffer a lot of things in this life because of past karma, or we don't know what will happen in the future, right? We may have, because of karma, we may have multiple births. We may go to hell, we may suffer, and then we may take another birth. So whatever happens, right? We may not go to hell, but we may take birth as some other thing. So regardless of what happens after this life, in all these situations, the best protection we have is the Panchakshara. That is the summary of this song. Any comments or any other thoughts before we go to the next song? Okay. So we'll go to the 7th song. Again, you can repeat. Vīḍu, piṟappai, aṟuttu, mecciṇar, pīḍai, keḍuppaṉa, viṉai, நாள்தோறும் மாடு கொடுப்பன, மண்ணு, mā-naḍam, ஆடி, உகப்பன, añjeḻuttumē. So again he is telling us the greatness of Panchaksharam and how it will help us. So he is saying that this will cut off our birth and death cycle. It will remove our suffering. It will give us the wealth. And it is performing a never-ending great dance. That is a Panchakshara. So that's a summary of this song. Now we will look at the words and their meanings. Because the reason why I focus on the word and their meanings is because sometimes, we have the meaning and then you are not able to relate to the verse. It becomes difficult. So if you know some words and their meanings, this will trigger us to the context of the song and the full meaning of the song easily. Vīḍu means in Tamil, commonly if you ask somebody what a vīḍu, they will think it is a house. But vīḍu in thevaram means one of two things. One is that it can mean death, or it can mean mukti, liberation. Vidudal Vidudal is the verb, which means to leave. So if somebody is holding on you, holding you or something, you say vidu, means release, let go. So vidudal is to release or to leave. And that is a verb, and when it comes as a noun, it becomes viḍu. So when our soul leaves the body, that is death. So that is why viḍu means death. But there's another viḍu, which is when all our karma leaves us, all our bondages leave us. And what we get when we get that? That is mukti. So viḍu means to leave or leaving. And because of the word viḍu means leaving, that means it connotes death, it can connote liberation. So here in this song, viḍu means death. Piṟappai means birth. Aṛuttu means cutting off. Aru means to cut, to get destroyed. So mecciṉar means those who love, those who cherish. I think in Telugu also maybe a similar meaning may be there for the word mechu. Okay, mechu, appreciate, here cherish. Yeah? So mecciṉar, those who appreciate the Panchaksharam, those who cherish the Panchaksharam, what is the benefit they are getting? That's what is outlining. Those who cherish Panchaksharam, for them, Panchaksharam will cut off their death and birth cycle. Okay, that is the first line. Mecciṉar means those who cherish Panchaksharam. It will cut off their birth and death. And then what else do? That is future, right? Birth and death is after this life. What will it do in this life? pīḍai keḍuppaṉa. Pīḍai means misery, something which is unwanted, undesirable, suffering. So this is a word which all the bad things that can happen to one in this life, right? That afflictions that we have, the miseries that we get. pīḍai, that is pīḍai. Keḍuppaṉa means it will remove them. So it will cut off our birth and death, and it will get rid of all our misery and suffering in this life. Viṉai means in addition, subsequently or further, right? In addition to all this, what else will it do? Naḍam means daily, every day. Mādu keḍuppaṉa. Mādu, again in today's Tamil, if you ask people, they will say Mādu means cattle. A cow or a bull is called Mādu. But in thevaram and in old Tamil, Mādu means wealth. So in common language, they used to say asti busti. Okay, and you know what is busti? Busti is land. Bu. Asti is the cows, the wealth. A in Tamil is cow. Okay, whatever. So the point is that what I'm saying is that in the olden days, cows are considered a wealth. And so the word wealth was used to describe them. So in old Tamil, the word Mādu is never used for cow directly. The cow is referred to as pasu or petram, or there are many other words. But Mādu is the word that was used for wealth. So viṉai நாள்தோறும் மாடு கொடுப்பன. Kodu means to give. So they give wealth every day. This is talking of Panchakshara. And then mannum mā-naḍam ஆடி உகப்பன. Nadam is dance. Natam is a Sanskrit word, I think. It comes in Tamil too. Natam. Natana, right? Nata. So that natam is nadam in Tamil. Mā-naḍam means, ma is the Tamil word which means great. Maha. So mā-naḍam means Maha Natanam. And this is referring to Shiva's cosmic dance. Like we have Nataraja dancing, that Nataraja depicts the cosmic dance. Shiva Tandavam, right? So mā-naḍam is the great dance. And how is that great? And ugappana. Ādudal means to dance. Ugappana means they enjoy, they love. Mannu mā-naḍam. The word mannu means something that is permanent. So we know that Shiva is dancing, and that's why the whole world is running. And if Shiva stops the dance, everything will end. That we know. That's why they say he is dancing all the time. And that's a symbolic representation of Nataraja's dance. So if you look at that Nataraja icon, there are, I think we talked about it in one of our previous discussions. He holds different things in his hands. He holds a udukkai, or the small drum, damuru. He holds a small drum, and that symbolizes creation. And he is dancing, and he has got a muyalagan below his foot. If you see, there's a like a Rakshasa kind of form on whom Nataraja is dancing. And that form symbolizes our ignorance. And he is holding fire in another hand. And fire represents annihilation or dissolution. So Shiva's Nataraja form talks about creation, sustenance, dissolution, everything it represents in that form. So what he is saying here is that mannu mā-naḍam ugappana means the Panchaksharam is performing the never-ending great dance. Añjeḻuttumē, the holy 5 letters, Panchaksharam, which is Shiva. So to recap, those who cherish Panchaksharam, they will be free from the unending birth and death cycle. They will be free from miseries. They will enjoy wealth every day in their life, in this life. And the Panchaksharam is performing the never-ending great dance. That's a summary of the 7th song. Now we will go to the 8th song. Again we will repeat. Vandu, Amar, Odi, Madandai, Pēṇina, Pandai, Iravanan, Pādi, Uindana, Thondargal, Kondu, Thuditta pin, Avarku, Andam, Alippana, añjeļuttumē. So in this song he is saying that Parvati cherishes the Panchaksharam, and Ravana sang the Panchaksharam and escaped. And when devotees chant Panchaksharam, it grants them everything. That's the gist of this song. Now we will look at the word meanings. Madandai means woman. And here, because of the context of the song, Madandai here represents Uma or Parvati. And Parvati has a description. The first phrases, Vandu Amar Odi, is an adjective phrase describing Parvati. Odi means a woman's hair. In Indian languages, in Tamil and probably true in Sanskritam, maybe in Telugu, other languages too, they have multiple words for the hair. And there are some words which are applied to hair on a man's head, and there are some words which apply to hair on a woman's head. So in Tamil, Odi is a word that refers to a woman's hair. And there are common words, but here Odi is a woman's hair. And Vandu means bees. Amar means to like. So what he is saying is Vandu Amar Odi Madandai means Parvati who has hair that attracts bees. That's the meaning of that. So now we have to wonder, why is Parvati's hair attracting bees? Because she is wearing nice flowers, and those flowers have a lot of nectar in them, and bees are attracted to the nectar in the flower. So that is a way of saying Parvati has a nice hair with beautiful flowers on them. So it is describing Parvati's beauty, and that's a poetic way of describing. So Parvati with a hair that attracts bees, she cherishes them. Penina, she cherishes them. Panchakshara. Again, Parvati, she is the consort of Shiva. So it goes without saying that she cherishes him. And we also have a lot of Puranic stories where Parvati comes to the earth and does tapas and worships Shiva in different sthalams, different places. So, for example, Kanchipuram is a very well-known sthalam, place where Parvati has done such tapas. Yeah. Yeah. So Kanchipuram is a place where it's a very special place. It's a very ancient place, and Parvati does tapas in Kanchipuram. And in fact, if you read the Puranams, Sthala Puranam and other things, you will find that Parvati makes a Shivalingam with the sand in the river. There's a river called the Kambai River, Kampa Nadi, Kambai River in Tamil. And in that Kambai River, she makes a Shivalingam with sand, and then she is doing worship. And Shiva one day, wants to play, and he sends out flood waters in that river. And when a lot of flood waters come, obviously, the Shivalingam made with sand will be washed away, right? So Parvati is afraid that the lingam is going to get washed away, so she hugs that lingam to protect it. So anyway, the rest of the story you can read in Kanchipuram Sthala Puranam, but so I'm just giving it as an example that Parvati cherishes the Panchakshara, and that's the meaning of the first line. And she also has done other similar tapas and similar worship in other sthalams. There are different sthalams there. There is a sthalam that we will discuss at a later session. Again, this is near Kumbakonam. Sthalam called thiruppadhigam. There is a means pasu. I talked about it in the previous song's discussion. So aṟuttu is where Parvati comes in the form of a cow and worships Shiva in that place. So again, I'm just giving it as an example so we know that the Parvati has done tapas and she cherishes Panchaksharam. That's the gist of that. The second line, Pandai Iravanan Padi Uindana. And because this is the 8th verse in the padhigam, Sambandar refers to Ravana and in some form or other. Because we talked about it in detail when we discussed the Thodudi Esavian padhigam, the first padhigam, as to why Sambandar is singing about Ravana in the 8th verse. Because Ravana did a great sin of trying to pick up Kailasa mountain and throw it away. And Shiva crushed him under the mountain for that sin, but he didn't kill him. And Ravana got stuck there for a long time, and then a Rishi comes along, and his name is Vagisa. So Vagisa Rishi comes along and tells him that, why are you simply crying? Sing Shiva's glory. He is very kind. He will come and relieve you. So then Ravana sings. The story is that Ravana has a lot of arms and a lot of heads, right? So he plucks one of his heads and plucks one of his arms, attaches them together, and then takes his nerves from his arm, makes a viṇai out of these things. So he makes a musical instrument out of these things, and then he sings Samaganam, the Samavedam. He sings nicely, and he sings Shiva's glory, and that's what he is saying. And he sings Shiva's glory, and after a long time, Shiva gives him boons. He makes him whole again, so that he releases him from the mountain. He makes him whole again. He gives him long life, and he gives him a sword. There's a sword called Chandrahasam. He gives him a sword, and that sword is the one that Ravana uses when he fights with Jatayu. So there's a Chandrahasam. He gives him a sword, and he gives him the name Ravana. Before that, Ravana is to cry, to shout and to cry. So before that he was simply known as Dasagrivan. Like Dasagrivan, again in the movies they don't show it properly, but Dasagrivan, as the name says, he has got 10 necks. So Ravana had 10 necks and one head on each neck. And that's how he was known, Dasagrivan. But after this episode, he is known as Ravana, because Shiva gives him that name Ravana, because he cried. And so he is describing all this, and that's what is Sambandar always refers to Ravana in the 8th song to show that Shiva is so merciful that even the greatest sinners, if they repent and worship him, they are redeemed. So that is a symbolic reference, and Sambandar mentions Ravana in every padhigam. With one or two, there are 2 or 3, a handful of padhigams where he doesn't mention him. But otherwise, 99% of the padhigams, Ravana is mentioned on the 8th song. So Pandai means in old times. Pandai is very old. And in fact in Tamil, the word param is used. Param means fruit, but it's also used to refer to paramai is very ancient, very old. And similarly, the word pand means very old. And in fact, I think in Telugu, that's the word used for fruit, pand. Okay? Yeah. But that's a context, right? When it becomes ripe, it is padam, fruit. So, but in pand, I don't know whether it has the meaning of old in Telugu, but in Tamil, pandai, they also mean old. Yeah. But it's a related word. So, pandu in Tamil means old, ancient. So, pandai, iravanan is a Ravana. In Tamil, Ra doesn't start the word. So, the Tamil has certain rules on which letters can come in the beginning of a word, which letters can come in the end of the word. There are some restrictions. So, Ra letter does not start any word in Tamil. And because of that, Sanskrita words which start with the Ra, La, Ya, these are some other words, sound letters that don't start a word in Tamil. So when those Sanskrit words come into Tamil, they will be prefixed with a vowel. So Ravanan becomes Iravanan. Iravanan, Padi. Padi means to sing. Uidal means to be released, to escape. Salvation, right? Vīḍu in Tamil means salvation, or to escape from danger. So, Pandai Iravanan Padi Uindana. Long ago, Ravana sang Panchaksharam and he got released from the Kailasa mountain and he became whole again. That's what the second line is. The third line talks about what the devotees get. தொண்டர்கள் கொண்டு துதித்த பின் அவர்க்கு அண்டம் அளிப்பன. தொண்டர்கள் means devotees. கொண்டு means cherishing with love, with துதித்த பின், after they chant or recite or worship. Pin means after, tudita means to worship or to recite. Avarku, to them, andam alippana. Andam is a Sanskrit word, means the world, right? Andam is a Sanskrit word. Andam means it's a round shape, but it stands for the universe. That's why we have the words like Brahmandam. Yeah, all those things, right? Andam is the heavenly body, or it can stand for the universe. Alippana means to give. In the previous song, we saw keḍuppaṉa. Kodu, Ali, these are all similar meaning words. Andam alippana means they give the whole world, whole universe, everything. So what this means is, when the devotees worship with love the Panchaksharam, after they have worshipped like that, it gives them the whole world to them. It gives them everything to them. Means they get whatever they seek. All the boons that they want, it will give them. It will take them to the Sivalokam where they will enjoy the whole thing. So that's what he's saying. They will get everything they desire. Andamalippana. So, añjeļuttumē, that's the greatness of the Panchakshara. So that's the summary. So Parvati cherishes them. Ravana sang the Panchaksharam and he escaped the danger. And when devotees chant it with love, it grants them everything they want. That's the 8th song. So we have 3 more songs. Should we continue, or what is your... Yeah, give me 1 second. Yeah, he is on. He is on mute, but he is on. Okay. So let's go to the 9th verse. Okay, Murthy is checking, whether we should discuss it in the next session, which is fine. We can do that. We have 3 more verses to cover. 9, 10 and 11. We will probably stop at this point and cover the 3 verses next time, and we will do that then. So we will conclude at this point. Before we wrap up, any point you want to, anything you want to add about the three things we have discussed so far? Okay, so we'll end here for today. Tiruchitrambalam.